Here we go again, asking the same old questions, facing the same stuff, wondering when it's all gonna leave us alone. And here we go again, denying we ever knew the truth, or blame is a disease that separates you from love. And when you're down and formless as a cloud, drifting out to sea.
Good evening. Greetings of peace on behalf of Raj Yoga Center. Charlie Hogg started his journey in early 20s, and then he's been looking after the centers in Australia, the Raj Yoga centers. He's also traveled to many places and teaching meditation. I called our lovely sister Suchitra to come and present beautiful bouquet on behalf of all of us to Charlie Hogg.
Good evening. It's so lovely for me to be here. And what I would really love to do tonight is to share a few of my thoughts about this subject in this place that we love to finish with a little bit of reflection and meditation. But I've actually been learning and teaching meditation for around 45 years. And what that means really is I meet so many people and I listen to so many people about their lives. And I find that scratch the surface of most human beings and two things become very apparent. So many of us carry so many stories in our hearts about our relationships, and so many feelings about relationships. But just as much, I think, we carry many regrets about life. And personally, I think that regrets are a part of human life. The problem is that we often don't know what to do with those regrets, or don't have a methodology or a strategy to begin to reduce the effect of regrets. And what really is regret? Regret is like unfinished business. It's like the unresolved stories of the past that sit in my subconscious. Sometimes I think it's like a outstanding debt that you haven't paid. You know, in the old days when they had account ledgers, if there was a debtor to be in red, you know how they used to, it's almost like it's in my memory track in red. Something is not really resolved. Regret is like blaming myself for bad outcomes. Things don't work out and I blame myself for them. And sometimes with regret, we just hope or wish this thing hadn't happened when it had happened. And it's an extraordinary part of the human psyche. Because one of the things I'm always fascinated by in our contemporary world, we are so educated about the world outside, but we are so uneducated about the world inside. You know, we don't know much about how we work. And in what I've learned in my meditation is how the mind interacts with the world outside and how we store memories in our memory track. A lot are beautiful, but some are unhealthy, and they're like a shadow over my life in the present. You know how the memories just emerge, and they're like a shadow over enjoying life in the present. And so how does the mind work? And the mind is such an extraordinary thing. You know, some research, if you Google the mind, and as you know today, just everything lies on Google. Some researchers say in a waking day of 16 hours, you create around 70,000 thoughts. Please don't ask me how they counted them, because I've got no idea. But that's a lot of thoughts. And another researcher says in a minute you can speak about 125 words, but you can think about 500. You know how your mind is doing many jobs? And it also says in psychology that your mind is aware on 7 different levels at any given moment. In other words, like me, I'm speaking to you, I'm thinking what I might say next, I'm watching your reaction. I can see people coming in and out of the door at the back. You know how your mind is processing so much information. And also the way the mind works is that the sense organs take the information and throw it up on the screen of the mind. Imagine there's a screen behind me. So what you see and what you hear, that information goes up on the screen of your mind. And you know, one of the greatest regrets in this area is around education. A lot of people regret, I wish I'd studied something different. Anyone here feel like that? Oh, the whole room. That's also one of a huge regret, that we actually allow myself just to dance, to the tune of really what others want me to be. We have to look after our own health. And to me, having a little practice like meditation, and there's 3 ways you can do meditation, I feel. What is meditation really? In one sense, it's just thinking well. It's learning which thoughts create well-being and which thoughts make me feel weak. It's almost that simple. And then editing out those thoughts that make me feel weak.
Good evening, a very warm and loving welcome to everyone present here today. Our speaker today is going to help us explore, experience, and understand what is true love. As it is in the month of February, we all know it's a special month of love. Let me welcome Brother Charlie onto the stage. And I'll also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Director of Raj Yoga Center, Jyoti Didi, for UAE and Oman. To welcome Brother Charlie, I call Brother Ajay with a bouquet of flowers.
Good evening, everyone. Am I loud? That sounds better, doesn't it? So good evening once again, everyone. It's really a delight to be here tonight. And what I'd love to do tonight is just to share a few of my thoughts. And it's lovely, there's just a few of us, so it's homely feeling, a nice homely feeling. And plenty of time for discussion and questions, because I think these are subjects which most of us are experts in to a certain extent. I feel that in all languages of the world, has there been anything written more about than the subject of love? I would doubt it. In all languages of the world, has there been anything sung more about than the subject of love? I doubt it. In fact, in all languages of the world, is there anything talked more about than the subject of love? Because in my personal experience, I think love is the pinnacle human experience. And love is the human experience that really changes us and really transforms us. And some years ago, I attended a World Parliament of Religions. And it was an extraordinary event. It had 5,000 religious leaders from all over the world. And there was one speaker, and he was talking about three things. He said there's information, there's knowledge, and there's wisdom. And in terms of love, if you Google the word love, how many responses do you think you'll get? I did it today just for interest, just before I came. Nearly 14 billion responses. And that says a lot to me, because I think, you know, it's in our DNA to really search for the experience of love. But some people feel when those feelings aren't there that I'm not really experiencing love. And so recycle relationships, you know, one after the other. And that also leaves a scar on the psyche. So many different types of love, we can say. You know, selfish love, conditional love, superficial love. Even I would say the culture today is dependent love. And why does that really happen? Because I think it seems so difficult for us to love ourselves. And because I can't give myself a quality of love, I need you to provide it to me. And so I become extremely dependent on you to provide my need. But dependence has a double-edged sword, if you know what I mean. I find that often those extremely dependent relationships become a little bit love-hate. I love you because you're giving me support, but somehow I've lost my freedom. I feel like I'm held down. The spirit can't really express itself as it really wants to. So we all experience love in life, but often I would say it's a little bit polluted in different ways. And this is why I think being love, really, there's so many wisdoms that enable me to really perhaps re-emerge that quality of love, which I feel is the foundation of a quality life. To me, I feel the first human right should be to be loved. Would you agree? And I'm not sure everyone gets that today for whatever reason. But to me, the first wisdom of being love is to understand that there's no higher experience for the human mind than the experience of love. Like I was saying, when you feel love, you feel content, you feel satisfied, you feel fulfilled, you don't feel you need anything. There's a whole range of emotions that spring out of that feeling of love.
Flying on wings of peace, flying free, flying on wings of peace, flying free, flying on wings of peace, yeah. If love were a bird, I would stroke her bright feathers. Then I'd watch her fly free, cross the still of the dawn. And if peace were a mountain, we'd gather
the way that they were expressing themselves, the gestures were identical. You know, they were touching their heart and then touching their head and using their hands. And so I thought, wow, they are human beings, right? What they have in common is not the language. Even their facial characteristics, there's a difference between Japanese and Chinese, right? Even Korean, but you have to sort of train yourself to see it.
Done something really wrong. And we don't have just to say that's right or it was not wrong. But we can forgive the person, give a second chance to the person, even knowing that what that person has done was really wrong. And so, like Brother Ken said, just to see the diamond and not the cobra. So just see that the person is a soul, a spiritual being. And all of us make mistakes. Sometimes I think to myself, I come from a very good family. I had always had food to eat, a roof to sleep. I had studied in very good schools. I have traveled the world, and still I make mistakes. And then we see other people that didn't have any of these things. Accept that maybe they didn't have anything to give. So anyway, let's move on to the second part, which is about the meditation. When we understand that there is a method to meditate that can help us to create the right thoughts, so that we can re-emerge these beautiful qualities that Brother Ken was just sharing. That is quite difficult to bring it alive in ourselves. So the practical method of meditation is, first step is called introversion, which means that you just becomes an observer of what is happening inside of yourself.
celebrate with joy and happiness.
Oh, देखो कौन आया, साथ बाबा भी आया, झूम झूम नाचो। देखो कौन आया, साथ बाबा भी आया, Shiva and Baba together.
You are the ocean of love. You are the ocean of love.
close your eyes even. Just as you don't need to close your ears. But let your gaze rest at some point in front of you. Just to rest your gaze. And become aware of two worlds. The one outside of you and the one inside. At the moment you can hear the air conditioning, you can hear my voice. But at least it's like combined, okay? It's like, the soul needs the body to express itself and to experience this world.
देखो को नया साथ बाबा भी आया
Shiva and Baba together.
I experience such happiness that it opens the door of my heart, and I feel I am listening to the trumpets of happiness, which brings me fulfillment and contentment.